Hey everyone, it's TB Shores. It's May the 6th, 2020. It is 12:22 p.m. There was something, I wanted to start mentioning at the beginning of the videos. This is the third video in this group of videos. And although we will touch on some other things that I have been shown, this will be mainly focused on what I'm calling the 2-week connection. So, since we are going to talk about the 2-week connection, the first thing I want to show you, we're going to revisit this May 2020 Hebrew calendar as we see how the dates fall. Now, note this is May of this year, and we see the 8th, which is second Passover, when second Passover begins, and it's on a Sabbath. I think that's very significant because we know that Sabbath is very important to the Lord. And if we look 2 weeks beyond Passover, we see May 22nd, which is the date that these videos were focused on. Okay. We want to talk about the 2-week connection in perspective to right now, where the Lord had spoke to me. I'm trying to see if I have that pulled up. There it is, where he had spoke to me back on April 4th, 2013. No. Yes, that's correct. 2013. Jesus and his disciples have 2 weeks. Now, here you see I've got 2 written out as the number, and then 2, which means until. And then this one, I don't feel like it applies. I was just trying to illustrate the 2 or the 3 different versions of 2 so that you could see it could have different meanings. So we know the word 2 has different meanings, and the word weeks has different meanings. We see the word weeks, of course, meaning a 7-day count. We see the word weeks meaning Shavuot, because Shavuot actually means weeks. Okay. That was something that I learned even back in 2013 of when the Lord was showing me this. Let me see something here. Yes, 2013. Now, in perspective to Jesus and his disciples have 2 weeks. We can come over here and see that as we look at Passover in this month of May, 2 weeks later is the May 22nd date, which gives us one understanding of the 2-week count, because we have 1 and 2 weeks. But then we also have what I think is another understanding that we shouldn't overlook, and it's about Jesus and his disciples not only having 2, as in 1 2 weeks, but it has another, a layered meaning, meaning to Shavuot, which Shavuot means weeks, the Feast of Weeks, which is Pentecost. And I think we need to take all these things into consideration. Now, just exactly what do they all mean, I don't know. I'm hoping the Lord will lead me there as I continue on with some of this. But I think right now it's just important to recognize the patterns, because it's all about patterns that God works in. Now, when you see here the month that we're in, and second Passover is coming, and we see the 8th, which is second Passover, falls on Friday, the Sabbath. And we see the 15th, and then we see the 22nd, the 2-week count later, May 22nd. We see a pattern on the calendar. Now, what I want us to look at is that this is May, and how the days are laid out on the calendar. We have the 8th on a Friday. 2 weeks later, we have May 22nd on a Friday. All right, the year that the Lord gave me videos, let me pop over here. I'm trying to see if I already have that pulled up. I can't remember. When the Lord gave me videos on Second Passover, right here they are in this playlist. We pop into it, we can see.
Good morning, everyone. This is TB.
There, I just want that quiet. We can see that it was 2015. It was late April, fixing to come into May of 2015, when I put this video up, this first video on Second Passover. So the Lord was drawing my attention to that, to Second Passover in 2015. So when I went back through some paperwork that I had,
by a period of May 22nd.
Okay, when I went back, excuse me, through my paperwork that I used when I was doing the Second Passover studies, I found this calendar. This is a picture of a calendar I found that I was using at the time, and this is a 2015 calendar. What I want you to make note of is when I found this calendar, the thing that jumped up in my face was the pattern of how the dates fall in May. Okay, May with 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th, all falling the same, okay, as we see this year. 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Now, I'm not saying Passover fell the same then. What the Lord is showing me when He brought that calendar to my attention was the pattern of how the days fall on the calendar. And I took it as a very strong confirmation that I was understanding the Lord correctly. That when He showed me Second Passover in 2015, He would bring me back to understand that the pattern for that year would be the pattern we would see for this year. Okay? Now, you say to me, that can't be the only year that it falls that way, but I want to show you something. This is some homework that I did. I started at the year 2011. That was the year the Lord started speaking to me in a much stronger, more defined way. So that's why I chose that year to start with. So that all the years He's been speaking to me where I hear Him so very clearly, and He started showing me things like never before. I started at 2011, and all these years, we do not see, here we are now, okay? We do not see this pattern again. We do not see Second Passover falling on May the 8th, all these years before. 2020, we do not see, and the Lord only led me to go out 7 years past 2020, and we don't see Second Passover fall on May the 8th in the 7 years past 2020. Not in the years leading up to it or the years following it. Okay, and the significance of that is when you see that Second Passover falls on the 8th, as we see right here, and 2 weeks later is May 22nd. Well, we don't see May 22nd, the 2-week time frame, falling that way again either. Okay. It's important to note as well that this is a Friday, which we know that Friday evening is the beginning of Sabbath. Okay, so what I'm trying to establish with this is that this year, 2020, is very significant in that we do not see this pattern on the calendar connecting Second Passover in a 2-week time frame to May 22nd. Any of the years leading up to or out 7 years past it. Now, the Lord only had me go 7 years. The first thing popped in my mind was 7-year tribulation. Is this the beginning of the 7-year tribulation? Is this the time frame where it is fixing to kick into gear, so to speak? Personally, I think it is. As we continue on, maybe we will see some more evidence of that. But I'm going to cut this off here and start the next video. Love y'all. I'll be back in a few.